The 11th and 12th grade mallet excerpt is the Solfeggietto by Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, and it's from the Masterworks for Mallets book. You're going to play from the beginning of the etude all the way to the first beat of letter F, just the first note. There's a lot of things to consider in here, a lot of which have to do with stickings, but also with chords. You should be pretty familiar with chords, hopefully, at this point, and realize that there's a lot of chord outlining going on. There's a lot of C minor chords, F minor chords, B flat. You should be familiar with that one. And they kind of span the instrument a lot. So it's a good idea to just practice a lot of arpeggios over and over with different stickings to get used to this. So let's start at the beginning, and I'm just going to take section by section some things that I'm considering through this. The first section basically is measure 1 up until the downbeat of A. This I'm pretty much going to play just straight right hand lead throughout, and I'm going to use these are some sort of medium hard rubber mallets. I think they sound nicer since you have to do this audition on a xylophone. Sounds a little bit nicer than using a regular xylophone mallet, which is going to sound too hard and not very pretty for this. One of the other considerations is the tempo. The printed marking is quarter note equals 88. I don't think there were actually any metronome indications in Bach's day for this. This is something that an editor put in. I wouldn't worry too much if you do not take it all the way up to 88. To me, 88 is a little bit frantic for this, especially when you have some of the passages that jump up and down the instrument so quickly. This would be 88. To me, that's a little quick. I would probably take it down at least 10 clicks, maybe even a little bit more than that. I wouldn't go any lower than about 74 or 72, but I think if you take it at a mid-70s tempo, that's probably going to be okay. It allows you a little bit more time to make sure that you hit all the notes correctly and you can be as expressive as you would like to be. So this first section from measure 1 to the downbeat of A, I just play with a right hand lead and alternate every single note. It's at this point, letter A, that now you're going to have to start to do some double strokes. What I like to do is anytime the pattern starts again from the highest note, I like to play 2 right hands in a row until I get to the new pattern. So for the beginning of letter A, measure 5, this is a C minor chord. I'm going to play the first 2 notes of each of the highest 2 notes with my right hand. So I play the first 2 16th notes and then the second and third 16th notes of beat 2 with my right hand. This lays pretty well, and it allows you to keep from crossing, which is going to cause you to miss notes, I think. The second half of the first measure at A is all basically part of an F minor arpeggio, so you're going to start with this A and then alternate all the way back until the downbeat of measure 6. And you're going to start measure 6 with the right hand and do the same thing that you did at the beginning of the previous measure, but now it's a B flat chord. Now this next spot, the next 2 sets of 16th notes, this is beats 3 and 4 of measure 6. Here I am going to have to cross a little bit, but it's not so bad because my left hand is on one of the flats, and my right hand's going to cross down underneath here. So you might want to play the E flat in the middle of the bar to give your right hand time to get down to this G. And then you're going to come right hand lead all the way to the downbeat of measure 7. I'll do that once again. From this point on, it's easy to play the first two beats of measure 7 with a right hand lead. At this point, I kind of like doing a right, left pattern for the rest of these two measures until I get to the downbeat of B, which is going to look like this. And from this point on, I'm going to alternate. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm just going to double the whole thing. The last 4 16th notes before B, you could play right, left, right, left. Okay, so to recap, from 7, beginning of measure 7 until the downbeat of B, I'm going to play right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. Right, left, left, right, left, right. And from this point on, at letter B, I can alternate hand to hand. When I get to measure 30, I'm going to play double rights on the and the of beat 1. And then the same thing on the second 2 16th notes of beat 2. This keeps my left hand on the G the entire time. I can look away and play that. Makes it a lot easier to do. But going back to B, everything else is a right hand lead up until that point in measure 10. Right. Okay, now we get to measure C, or rehearsal C. This is measure 13. We have to play the double stop together, but then I'm going to begin with the left at that point. I'm just going to put one double in here from the G to the F going into the third beat, last 16th note of 2 going to the downbeat of 3. I'm going to play a left. Everything else is alternated. Also be aware of the chord that you're outlining. It's a G minor chord going to a G major chord. Measure 14, we drop down a little bit, and now everything's going to have to stay left hand on the bottom, right hand on the top. So your left hand is going to have to do this pattern. So I would practice that quite a bit by itself, just the left hand. And put the hands together and it's like this. Right? Then we get to measure 15. This is very much like measure 13 with a double left leading into the B flat. And again, you're going from a C minor chord to a C major chord with the 7th. And then measure 16 is going to be like measure 14 with the left hand playing this pattern. From this point on, the next section is really letter D to letter E. I'm going to play that all with a right hand lead, but the one thing is that when I get to measure 21, I want to play that first note, the A flat, with my left hand so that the whole pattern lays within my hands without me having to cross. Okay, up until beat 4. So in order to start with that left hand there, I need to do a double right in the measure before it. So on beat 3 of measure 20, I'm going to do a double right from the G to the F. That way I get to the left hand on the A flat on the downbeat of 21. Once again, going through 21, it's a left hand lead, but on the 4th beat, the last 4 16th notes, I want to play a left, right, left, and that gives my hands time to get to the chord on the downbeat of E. So going back to letter D, it's all right hand lead up until beat 3 of measure 20. Good. So from E to the end, which will be just the downbeat of F, we're almost there. We have to play octaves at the beginning of every measure, followed by 2 groups of 16th notes. On the 16th notes, I'm going to do a right hand lead, but then do a double right on the downbeat of 4. So it gives my left hand more time to get down to the bottom of the roll. So if I play, for instance, measure 22 on beat 3, I'm going to play right, left, right, right, left, right, and I've got time to get to the roll comfortably. When I play the final measure, full measure, measure 25, this is also a right hand lead. And I'm going to play the E flat roll and try to go straight into the little trill. Play beat 4 as a trill between the D and the E flat. It looks like it would be that, but I think it sounds better as a trill. It's a little nicer. Fade out into the downbeat. So from letter E to F sounds like this. So, hopefully these sticking suggestions will help you prepare this for the audition. And again, my recommendation is to take it a little bit slower than 88.